What if I told you that before the sun kisses the sky, destinies are decided? That greatness is not discovered at midday. It's claimed in the hush before the world stirs. Imagine this. While the city sleeps, while others negotiate with their alarms, somewhere out there, a mind sharpens, a will strengthens, and a dream takes one more step toward reality. That person could be you. Because those who choose the dawn don't just start their day, they seize the reins of their life. Morning is not just another checkpoint. It's the forge where champions are made. In those precious, quiet hours, while the air is still and the distractions are asleep, you have a secret advantage. A head start on yourself, on your doubts, on the world. Look at Serena Williams. Before the stadium lights, before the trophies, there were countless sunrises where she trained while the world slept. She wasn't waiting for talent to do the work. She showed up before it was easy. That's what separates the legendary from the ordinary. And you, yes, you, are just one decision away from stepping into that same current of power. When you rise early, you're not just waking up. You're waking up your purpose. You're setting the tone, dictating the energy, creating a rhythm that will echo through every hour that follows. You're no longer living by default. You're living by design. Now rewind. Ask yourself, how did you start your morning today? Did you hit snooze? Did you rush into chaos? Or did you sit with your intentions, breathe in clarity, and step forward with direction? Because every morning, the choice is yours. Think about it. Elon Musk didn't build rockets by waiting for the afternoon to feel motivated. Oprah Winfrey didn't craft her empire by hoping inspiration would strike by noon. They carved their path while others hesitated. The first hour of your day isn't just an hour. It's your foundation, your launch pad. Neglect it, and you stumble into your day. Command it, and you shape the next 24 hours with precision. And here's the truth. Discipline isn't just about waking up early. It's about what that early rising proves to you. It tells your mind, I show up for myself. It tells your spirit, I honor my commitments. That repetition, that relentless act of getting up when it's easier to stay in bed, wires your brain for success. Because the person who controls their morning commands their life. It's not about being a morning person. It's about being the kind of person who honors their mission, regardless of the hour. So tomorrow, when the alarm sounds and the bed feels too inviting, remember this. Every great story you admire, every legacy that inspires you, started with a single quiet, unseen choice. A choice to rise, a choice to act, a choice to become. The question is, will you be that person? Let's step back for a moment. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to glide through challenges, while others get stuck at every turn? It's not luck. It's not some elusive trait only the elite possess. It's habit. It's structure. It's the silent decisions no one else sees. When you master your mornings, you're not just adding hours to your day. You're adding depth to your life. You're training yourself to move with focus when the world feels scattered, to remain centered when the noise creeps in. Steve Jobs, for instance, was known to begin his day with a singular question. If today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I'm about to do? That question set his compass every morning. It wasn't about tasks. It was about alignment. And you can craft your own morning philosophy, a question that sharpens your vision, that slices through the distractions, that reminds you of who you're becoming. Because your morning isn't just time, it's territory. It's your sovereign space to map your trajectory, to script your narrative before the day tries to write it for you. When you rise early, it's not just to check off productivity hacks. It's your laboratory of thought, your dojo of discipline, your cathedral of clarity. Look to figures like Maya Angelou. She wrote her poetry in rented hotel rooms at dawn, away from distractions, because she understood that creativity blooms in solitude. She didn't wait for the world to wake up to start creating impact. She made her own morning world. Or consider Nikola Tesla, whose morning walks were filled with ideation, visualization, invention, not just random activity, but intentional cultivation of genius before the noise began. That's the pattern. The first light of day is where brilliance often brews. The world's most resilient minds didn't stumble into success by accident. They trained for it, in the hours no one was watching. So what about you? What will your mornings say about the life you're building? Will they reflect scattered intentions, or will they echo the cadence of commitment? Here's your power play. Design a ritual, not just a routine, a ritual, a sacred sequence that primes your mind, fuels your body, and connects your spirit. Whether it's journaling your dreams, stretching into presence, or reading to feed your intellect, make it yours. Because each morning you conquer becomes a stone laid on the path to your higher self. And over time, those stones build a bridge from who you are to who you're destined to be. But remember, discipline is not a single decision. It's a practice, a muscle, a mindset. You don't rise early because it's easy. You rise early because you refuse to stay where you are. And that refusal, that commitment, is what turns potential into power. So, when you wake tomorrow, know this. It's not just a new day. It's another chance to shape your story, strengthen your will, and stretch your capacity. Because success isn't awarded at noon. It's earned at dawn. Now pause. Let's explore something deeper. Waking up early is more than a productivity trick. It's a mirror reflecting who you believe you are. When you rise before the world stirs, you send a quiet but powerful message to yourself. I am worth the effort. My dreams are worth the discipline. My life is worth the early hours. That builds something more potent than any morning routine. It builds self-respect. And here's a truth most people miss. Confidence isn't built in crowds or applause or praise. It's built in solitude, in the dark, when no one is watching, and you still choose to show up. Think of Stephen King, one of the most prolific writers of our time. His mornings are sacred, hours of uninterrupted writing before distractions seep in. That consistency didn't just produce bestsellers. It forged a belief system within him that said, I am a writer because I write when no one sees me. Self-belief isn't gifted. It's built, brick by brick, through small, relentless acts of discipline. Every morning you rise early, you stack another brick onto the fortress of your confidence. You remind yourself that you keep promises to yourself. And something magical happens when you live that way. Your doubts start to fade, not because you silence them with words, but because your actions drown them out. You don't have to convince yourself you can succeed. You prove it every morning when you choose action over comfort. This is the mindset of the self-made. Think about Frida Kahlo. In the early hours, she prepared her canvases, not just to paint, but to process her struggles, her vision, her unique voice. That ritual wasn't just art, it was identity building. She didn't wait for inspiration to find her. She showed up first. And that's the real secret. Confidence is constructed through consistency, not occasionally, not when you feel like it. Every single day. Because each morning is evidence. Evidence that you're not just dreaming, you're doing. And when the evidence stacks up, belief is no longer optional. It becomes inevitable. Imagine this. What if each sunrise was your personal proving ground? What if every early morning you said to yourself, I rise because I believe I'm capable of more? How would that reshape your days, your months, your life? This is your wake-up call. Not just to get out of bed, but to rise into the person you're becoming. Because the version of you that achieves greatness, they're already awake. The question is, when will you join them? Let's flip the perspective. What happens when you don't claim your morning? When you let the day dictate your pace, your focus, your emotions? You enter life in reaction mode. You're responding to everything, the emails, the notifications, the expectations, not leading, just chasing. But when you rise early, you're not reacting, you're orchestrating. You decide the tempo, you define the direction, and this is what leaders do. Consider the mindset of Pablo Picasso. His mornings were disciplined, structured, sacred. He began each day with precision, focused painting, contemplation, refinement of his craft, before the world's demands knocked on his door. His art wasn't born of chaos. It was cultivated in clarity. You can create the same sanctuary for your mind, not just by waking up early, but by doing so with intention. Because it's not about the hour on the clock. It's about owning the hour itself. When you do, you unlock a power most overlook: momentum. Momentum is a silent force. It doesn't shout, but it compounds. The first task completed, the first thought clarified, the first intention set, they snowball into a day of progress. Without momentum, the day drags you. With it, you glide. Remember Bruce Lee, not just a martial artist, but a philosopher of discipline. His mornings were for training, but also for mental sharpening. Reading, writing, reflecting. His strength wasn't just in his body, it was in his mind, conditioned every morning to remain fluid, adaptable, unshakable. You see, your morning is your momentum engine, and momentum doesn't just move your day, it shapes your life. So what will you build with it? A rushed morning leads to scattered efforts, but an intentional start, it builds rhythm, consistency, growth. Imagine if every morning was your personal workshop, a place where you build, refine, evolve. Not because you have to, but because you choose to. The world will always try to pull you into urgency, distractions, noise. But when you've claimed your morning, you step into that world armed, with clarity, with strength, with momentum that nothing can shake. So, when tomorrow arrives, don't just wake up. Rise up. Rise with purpose. Rise with a plan. Rise knowing that the first move you make can, and will, set the tone for everything that follows. Because the day belongs to those who own the dawn. Now, let's elevate even higher. Because early rising doesn't just give you time, it gives you mastery. Mastery of your mind. Mastery of your craft. Mastery of your life. Picture this. In the morning, your mind is uncluttered, your energy is untouched, your willpower is full. This is your prime time, not just to do, but to become. What if you dedicated the first light to learning? What if, while others sleep, you nourish your intellect, sharpen your skills, expand your wisdom? That's the secret of history's luminaries. Take Marie Curie. In the quiet hours, she wasn't just studying. She was revolutionizing the way we understand science. Her breakthroughs weren't bursts of genius. They were forged in quiet consistency, in a lab that became an extension of her will to grow. Or think of Igor Stravinsky, the legendary composer. Each dawn he sat at his piano, experimenting, composing, challenging the boundaries of sound, not waiting for the muse, but creating space for it to arrive. That's what the morning gives you, space to expand. Time to become more. You're not just gathering information. You're evolving. Because the mind, just like the body, demands training. Without it, it weakens. With daily practice, it sharpens into a tool of precision and power. So ask yourself, what am I feeding my mind before the world feeds it noise? Are you reading ideas that lift you? Are you writing thoughts that clarify your mission? Are you reflecting on lessons that shape your strategy? Every sunrise offers that opportunity, and those small, deliberate acts, they stack. One insight captured today can become the breakthrough you need tomorrow. One reflection written this morning can become the wisdom that guides your next big decision. Morning learning is not just study, it's self-sculpting. You're not born extraordinary, you build extraordinary. And the most effective architects of greatness, They begin construction while the sky is still dark. So tomorrow, don't just wake up. Study something that stretches you. Write something that reveals you. Question something that confines you. Because the greatest investment you'll ever make is in the mind you're building. Every dawn is your personal classroom. Every early hour is your laboratory for transformation. The leaders, the creators, the innovators of history, they didn't wait for the perfect moment. They made the morning their perfect moment. Now it's your turn. What masterpiece of mind will you begin tomorrow morning? Let's bring it home, because rising early doesn't just sculpt your skills or mind. It shapes your belief in yourself. Every morning you beat the sunrise. You reinforce a truth. I keep my promises to me. And that, more than any goal, any milestone, is the foundation of unshakable confidence. When you show up for yourself, before the world demands it, you're proving you can be trusted with your own potential. Think of Usain Bolt. Long before the cameras, the medals, the record-breaking sprints, there were endless mornings of discipline, training in silence, sharpening his body, his mind, his belief that he was born to win. That's the secret. Confidence isn't something you wait for. It's something you build. It's the byproduct of consistency. It's the echo of every small victory in the dark. You don't need the world to validate you when your actions already have. When you rise early, day after day, you stop asking, "Can I do this?" Because you're already doing it. You start to see yourself differently, not as someone waiting for life to happen, but as someone shaping it, step by step. This is how leaders are made. This is how greatness is carved. Not in grand moments, but in daily decisions that seem small, but together form a legacy. And beyond confidence, early rising teaches you adaptability. Each morning, you rehearse for life's unpredictability. You adjust. You pivot. You lead yourself before the world tries to lead you. Look at Amelia Earhart. Her mornings were spent plotting, preparing, visualizing her flights long before the engines roared to life. She adapted, she prepared, and that morning mastery translated into history-making courage. Adaptability isn't about reacting. It's about responding with readiness. And that readiness is born at dawn. But here's the greatest reward. Rising early strengthens not just your mission, but your relationships. When you begin your day grounded, centered, clear, you show up differently for others. You listen deeper. You speak with more presence. You lead with empathy, not ego. Because when you lead yourself first, you're equipped to uplift others. So tomorrow, when the sky is still painted in dark blues and grays, rise with purpose. Rise with gratitude. Rise with the quiet confidence that you're becoming unstoppable, not by accident, but by choice. Let every morning be your contract with greatness. Your declaration that you refuse to settle, to wait, to wish. You act. You rise. You become. Because the sun doesn't need to rise before you do.